Members of the class of 2026, President Passerini, Interim Provost Bertinoli, honored guests, friends and families of the graduates, faculty and administrators, good morning, and welcome to the commencement exercises of the Gonzaga Law School class of 2026. My name is Jacob Rooksby, and it is my honor to serve as the Smith-Moore P. Myers Dean of Gonzaga Law School and to welcome you to today's ceremony. We begin our program this morning by honoring our homeland ancestors, followed by an invocation and the singing of our national anthem. I ask that you please rise and remain standing through the anthem. In the spirit of the Jesuit practice of composition of place, we acknowledge that Gonzaga University resides on the homelands of the Spokane tribal people. We are grateful to be on the land and ask for its support as we work to manifest our intentions during this gathering of hearts, minds, and spirits. And now I invite the law school chaplain, Father Brian Pham of the Society of Jesus, to please come forward to give the invocation.
Gracious and loving God, source of all wisdom, truth, and justice, we gather today in gratitude. We give thanks for these graduates, for their perseverance, their intellect, their questions, and their courage. We thank you for the faculty, mentors, staff, families, and communities who walked with them through long nights, difficult cases, and moments of both doubt and discovery. Rooted in the Catholic and humanistic tradition, and inspired by the Jesuit commitment to faith that does justice, we ask for your blessings upon these graduates as they prepare to enter the legal professions of profound responsibility. Grant them wisdom so that they may seek not only what is legal, but what is just. Grant them discernment in the Ignatian spirit to reflect deeply, choose wisely, and act with integrity. Grant them humility to listen before they speak, to learn from those whose lives differ from their own, and to remember that the law exists to serve the human person. May they be women and men for and with others, especially the poor, the marginalized, and the unheard. May they use their training not merely to win arguments, but to heal divisions, protect dignity, and uphold the sacred worth of every person. In moments when the work is heavy, remind them that justice is not carried alone. In moments of success, remind them to give thanks and remain grounded. And in moments of moral challenges, give them the courage to choose conscience over convenience. For those gathered here who come from many traditions or from no tradition at all, we affirm our shared hope that knowledge be guided by compassion, that power be tempered by mercy, and that the law be practiced with humanity. May these graduates go forth to set the world on fire, not with anger or pride, but with wisdom, mercy, and a relentless commitment to justice. We ask this in gratitude and hope. Amen.
stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Father Pham, and thank you, Big Being Theory. Please be seated. Well, class of 2026, you did it. You survived cold calls, you survived cold calls, caffeine dependence, parking lot roulette, hundreds of pages of reading each week, and at least a few moments where you seriously question your life choices. And yet, here you are, robed, accomplished, and ready. Today is a celebration of achievement, but it is also something more. It is an invitation into a profession, and if you let it, into a calling. In 2019, Professor Kim Pearson and I worked together to create the law school's motto, passion into practice. At the time, we believed those words captured something essential about Gonzaga Law School. Not simply what Gonzaga-trained lawyers do, but why they do it. Because law is not merely a job. It cannot be, at least not if you hope to do it well. The law will ask things of you. It will interrupt your weekends. It will follow you home at night. It will break your heart sometimes. It will place you beside people on the worst days of their lives and ask you to help carry burdens that are not technically your own, but will feel that way anyway. And if you are fortunate, the law will also give life extraordinary meaning. There is a prayer attributed to the Jesuit priest, Father Pedro Arrupe, that I've always loved. It says this: what you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what will get you out of bed in the morning, what you do with your evenings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, whom you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything. I think there's profound truth in those words. The best lawyers I know are not people who merely master doctrine or build the most hours. They are people who fell in love with something: justice, service, problem solving, advocacy, opportunity, community development, human dignity, the belief that systems and institutions can be made better, the conviction that words matter and truth matters and people matter. That kind of love changes you. It shapes your instincts, your habits, your courage. It determines whether you view this profession as transactional or transformational. And that ultimately is what passion into practice means. Not passion as performance, not passion as branding, but passion disciplined through service of something greater. Passion tethered to purpose. passion made useful to other people. As graduates of a Catholic, Jesuit, and humanistic law school, you have been trained not only to think critically, but to live thoughtfully, to see clients not as files, but as human beings, to understand that intelligence matters, but character matters too. The world you are entering desperately needs lawyers who are technically excellent, but it especially needs lawyers who remain fully human. Lawyers who listen before speaking. Lawyers who possess judgment, humility, and moral courage. Lawyers who understand that leadership is not about occupying a position, but about elevating other people. And so, my hope for you is simple. Fall in love with something worthy. Fall in love with service, with justice, with building, with helping, with becoming the kind of person others trust when things become difficult. And once you find that thing, stay in love with it. Because in the end, titles change, offices change, seasons change, but the deeper commitments that shape a life endure. Class of 2026, thank you for the gift of your presence in this community. Gonzaga Law has been made better by your talent, your character, and your spirit. Congratulations on all that you have accomplished. And now, it is time to go forth into the world and put your passion into practice. Thank you. Now I introduce to you the president of the university, Katia Passerini.
Interim Provost, Dr. Mia Bertagnoli, Academic Deans, Distinguished Honoree, Chief Justice Megan Flynn, today's commencement keynote speaker, Justice Salvador Mungia, who is receiving an honorary Doctor of Laws. Law student speaker, Jacqueline Renee Lee. The Dean's Academic Achievement Award recipient, Susie Taylor. Members of the faculty, staff, and administrators, honored family members and special guests, but especially you, the graduate of Gonzaga School of Law, class of 2026. What a privilege it is to be here with you today. Congratulations. Before we begin your well-deserved celebration, let us pause for a moment to recognize that it's Mother's Day weekend. And I'm excited because I get to do this 3 times this weekend. What I would like to do is in honor of Mother's Day weekend, I ask all mothers here today to please rise so that we may thank and celebrate you. Thank you. Today is a day for reflection, gratitude, and celebration for all of us. Graduates of the class of 2026, today marks a profound moment of transition, one defined not only by your accomplishments, but also by responsibility. You live here not simply with a degree, but with a role in one of society's most essential systems, the pursuit of justice. Think back, if you will, to 3 years ago. Some of you entered law school immediately following your undergraduate studies. Others arrived after spending time in the professional world, gaining hands-on practical experience. Wherever you began, the distance between who you were then and who you are today is nothing short of remarkable. Throughout this journey, you exemplified what it means to be a ZAG, meeting seamlessly unsurmountable challenges with resilience, understanding, and grace. Today, many of you are joined by family and friends who know better than most the sacrifices required to reach this moment. And on behalf of Gonzaga University, I thank you for seeing this journey through with fortitude. We're honored to celebrate with you. The study of law within Jesuit higher education is deeply distinctive. And to understand why, I want to share the legacy of a man whose imprint remains unmistakable on this university and beyond, Father Bernard Coughlin. Father Coughlin served Gonzaga for 42 years, 22 as president and 20 as chancellor. As the longest tenured president in our history, he oversaw tremendous growth in both campus and mission. But perhaps the most enduring contribution was his understanding of law through Jesuit, Catholic, and humanistic lens. In his book, The Soul of a Nation, Father Coughlin offers 4 enduring insights. First, that law is grounded in truth and moral order, not merely policy. Second, legal education must form conscience, not just technical skills. Third, that law exists to serve the common good. And finally, that Jesuit universities need law schools. Because Gonzaga's mission calls us to work for justice, protect human dignity, and serve others. And the law is one of the most concrete arenas where faith and justice meet. A Jesuit university with a law school does a great service to the world. And we're extremely proud that you're here, and we will continue to support the school's excellent growth and way forward. The path for legal education is brighter than ever across the region and across the United States, and we are proud to be here with you. Each of you made a deliberate choice to come to Gonzaga. You chose an education that demanded both intellectual rigor and moral depth. You chose to engage not only with your mind, but with your heart. And the world needs your talents now, and we need more lawyers than ever now. At the heart of the legal systems, at the heart of the legal system you're entering is a simple but powerful structure. A plaintiff and a defendant, a claim and a response. A process designed not for speed or convenience, but for fairness. Due process demands much of you, that every argument be heard, that every fact be examined, that every person, regardless of the allegation, be afforded dignity and defense. Some of you will become criminal defense attorneys. You will defend the wrongly accused and must do so with everything you have. At times, you might be called to defend those who are guilty, and even then, your duty remains undiminished, because the right to a defense is a cornerstone of the legal system. Others will become prosecutors, entrusted not with winning, but with seeking justice. You will enter civil litigation, corporate counsel, public interest law, policy, legislation, education, the judiciary, and so on and so forth. Different roles, different responsibilities. But no matter which path you choose, there will be one unifying expectation: that you live your life and career with integrity. The law is not sustained by statutes alone. It is sustained by the character of those who practice it. You're called to competence, diligence, and confidentiality, to loyalty to your client and candor to the court, to advocacy grounded in justice, to being honest when it is difficult and displaying the ethical courage, especially when no one is watching. As Father Coughlin said, the law is grounded in truth and moral order, and you will be called to remember that truth and that morality that Father Coughlin talked about. You will be called not simply to know the law, but to honor it. I'm confident that you will excel at this because today you are not just lawyers, but you are Gonzaga lawyers, formed in a tradition that unites intellectual rigor with moral purpose, a tradition of service, a tradition of servant leadership. Graduates, your path ahead will include challenges, uncertainties, and moments of failure, but also moments of extraordinary meaning. Achievement is defined not only by success, but the adversities you endure and the integrity you maintain along the way. If the education you received at Gonzaga Law School has been successful, and I believe it has, and I know your faculty believe it has, you now understand that learning often emerges in the least predictable places, and so does purpose. You all fill us with hope. As your president on this day, on behalf of the entire Gonzaga community, I wish you to seek the truth and moral order with courage, integrity, purpose, and Godspeed. Congratulations to you, the Gonzaga University School of Law class of 2026.
Will Interim Provost Mia Bertinoli please come forward? Each year we confer the Dean's Academic Achievement Award on a student or students who have demonstrated exceptional academic performance and have achieved the highest cumulative grade point average during their studies. This year's recipient of the Academic Achievement Award is Susie Taylor. Susie entered law school later in life after a career as a chemical engineer in the pharmaceutical industry, followed by many years at home raising her 5 children. Her volunteer work with World Relief Spokane, where she assisted with refugee settlement, inspired her to pursue a legal education with the goal of serving underprivileged communities. At Gonzaga Law School, Susie thoroughly enjoyed both her coursework and her professors. She especially appreciated seeing real-world connections between her studies and current events. In addition to her academic work, she was a member of the Gonzaga Law Review and gained practical experience through the Immigration Law Clinic. Outside of law school, Susie continued her volunteer work with refugees at World Relief and as the service coordinator for her church congregation. 2 of the highlights of Susie's law career experience were interning for the Honorable Judge Mary K. Dimke at the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Washington and working at the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Washington. She looks forward to clerking for the Honorable Tracy A. Staub at the Washington Court of Appeals after taking the Washington Bar exam. Susie is so thankful for the incredible support of her husband and children throughout law school and is excited to spend more relaxed time with them, along with reading books that are not law school textbooks and hiking and skiing with family and friends. Congratulations, Susie. Will Chief Justice Megan Flynn please come forward?
The Gonzaga Law Medal is bestowed by the School of Law upon the serving individuals who have distinguished themselves in the service of justice. This year, the Law Medal is awarded to Chief Justice Megan Eileen Flynn. In 1962, on the occasion of Gonzaga University School of Law 50th anniversary, the University Board of Trustees authorized the first presentation of the Gonzaga Law Medal for the purpose of calling to the attention of our alumni, students, their exemplary contribution to the legal profession in keeping with the mission of Gonzaga University. Today, Gonzaga University School of Law is pleased to recognize Chief Justice Megan Flynn, a proud Gonzaga Law School graduate, for her exceptional commitment to service and justice. The Honorable Megan Flynn has served as Oregon's 44th Chief Justice since 2023, after first joining the Oregon Supreme Court in 2017 and earning election in 2018 and again in 2024. She previously served on the Oregon Court of Appeals and built a distinguished career in appellate law in Portland, arguing complex cases before state and federal courts. Chief Justice Flynn provides national leadership through her service with the Conference of Chief Justices, including work on legal education and admission reform. She is also deeply committed to civic engagement, serving with the Civics Learning Project and mentoring students through Portland's We the People program. Chief Justice Flynn exemplifies excellence in the law, public service, and the education of future generations. This makes her a most deserving recipient of the Gonzaga Law Medal. Please join me in welcoming Chief Justice Megan Flynn.
President Passerini, Interim Provost Bertagnoli, Dean Roxby, members of the Board of Trustees, graduates, family, friends. I'm grateful and honored to be a recipient of the Law Medal, but more importantly, I'm delighted to be here today with you to help celebrate the culmination of years of work and study that this ceremony signifies. To the members of the class of 2026, congratulations and welcome to the beginning of life after law school. As you step out those doors later this morning, I hope that your first thought is gratitude. Gratitude for the friends and family who have supported you on this all-consuming journey, and gratitude for the professors and legal mentors who have guided you. Your second thought can be about what lies ahead. Some of you know exactly what you'll be doing a year from now, and perhaps even think you know what you'll be doing 20 years from now. Others, I'm sure, still have a lot of questions about what that post-law school life will look like. I don't claim to have the answer to everything that your careers may hold, but wherever your law degree takes you, I want to share two pieces of advice that have made my career more rewarding. First, be in your professional life the person your grandmother would want you to be. What I mean by that is do what you say you'll do, treat others with respect, and remember that your relationships with other members of the professional community need to last beyond the crisis or dispute of the moment. Ultimately, most of you went to law school because you believe in the rule of law and in furthering justice. And I urge you to hang on to those values as you navigate the challenges of lawyer life. Second, throughout your career, recognize and seize opportunities to make your professional life more rewarding. Be open to the possibility that what will bring you greater satisfaction lies in an area of law or type of practice that you never thought you would enjoy, or in a position that right now you can't quite see yourself in. A decade before I became a judge acquaintance suggested that I should consider applying for a position on the appellate court, and my reaction was, I'm too young, I don't have enough legal experience, and I'm not even sure I would like that job. Perhaps those were all true at the time, but what mainly needed to happen is I needed to open my mind to the possibility of that opportunity. So I want you as well to be open to the possibility that satisfaction as a lawyer can come from using your skills and knowledge to help those in our society who have the most trouble gaining access to justice. Your law school education has taught you that there are many problems for which the legal system might provide a solution, and you've learned how to find and make use of the tools that can create that solution. That is a superpower and an incredible privilege. Throughout the country, too few lawyers are available to serve the needs of ordinary people, and the access to justice gap is only deepening. You'll encounter many opportunities to use your superpower to help members of your community gain access to justice, and I encourage you to seize those opportunities. I feel grateful that my legal education at Gonzaga was steeped in the values that have made my career rewarding. Besides just learning about civil procedure and contracts, I learned the value of public service, of practicing law with compassion and empathy, and of working to bridge the justice gap in my community. I hope that 34 years from now, one of you is on this stage, reflecting nostalgically back on a rewarding legal career and telling the class of 2060 that your legal education at Gonzaga is part of what made that career so rewarding. Congratulations, be well, and make the world a better place.
Thank you, Chief Justice Flynn. Will Justice Salvador Munguia please come forward? Justice Salvador Sal Munguia was elected to the Washington Supreme Court in November 2024 and sworn in January 2025. The son of immigrants from Mexico and Japan, he was born and raised in Tacoma. Munguia graduated with honors from Pacific Lutheran University and Georgetown University Law Center. Following law school, he clerked for both a Washington Supreme Court justice and a federal district court judge before joining the law firm Gordon Thomas Honeywell, where he was managing partner in his last 2 years of his practice. Justice Munguia practiced law for 38 years, focusing on complex litigation and appellate work, including aviation accidents, medical negligence, insurance coverage, and constitutional law. He is recognized for his professional excellence and ethics, including election as a fellow of the American Board of Trial Advocates and Litigation Council of America, an AV preeminent rating from Martindale-Hubbell, and consistent recognition by Best Lawyers in America and Super Lawyers. A leader in the legal profession, Justice Munguia has served as president of the Washington State Bar Association, the Tacoma Pierce County Bar Association, and the Western States Bar Conference. He has taught trial advocacy through the National Institute for Trial Advocacy and at Emory University School of Law. He has and presented and spoken at over 100 continuing legal education seminars. His contributions have been recognized with multiple honors, including a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Board of Trial Advocates. Throughout his career, Justice Munguia has been deeply committed to access to justice, providing extensive pro bono representation and serving in leadership roles with Legal Aid, the Access to Justice Board, and other organizations. He has also been a strong advocate for diversity and equity in the legal profession. Justice Munguia worked for 5 years on a committee of 6 attorneys to draft General Rule 37, which aims to reduce racial bias in jury selection. Justice Munguia is active in his community, serving on boards and commissions supporting education, civil rights, and public service. But he believes the best part of life are his 4 children, 2 daughters-in-law, and grandson. Please join me in welcoming this year's commencement speaker, Justice Salvador Munguia.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your celebration. Now, I know this is commencement, and you all sitting in front of me are so glad to be done with your 3 years of law school. I can see the family members out there and friends. You all are so happy to see that they made it through 3 years. But this is commencement. My remarks to you are going to be looking forward. Commencing. You are about to commence on joining a legal profession that I thoroughly love, a legal profession that has transformed my life, a legal profession that has given me more opportunities than I could ever have imagined, and you are going to be a part of that. That is what I'm going to be talking to you about here today. I will tell you, I live in Tacoma, so I see friends all the time in stores, at the YMCA, in the courtroom sometimes, and I'll say, how's it going? And once in a while, I'll get the response, oh, Sal, I'm living the life, right? And you've probably heard that before. And they're being facetious. But in my head, what I'm saying is, man, I am living the life. I will tell you this, I am living a life that I could not even dreamed about as a kid. It was impossible. So in my remarks to you today, it's going to be 3 acts, or maybe I should say 3 stories. One is what compelled a little brown boy from Lakewood, Washington, to become an attorney, to hopefully maybe have you remember why you decided to join this profession, or if that wasn't the reason, maybe still to have something click within you. The second story, it's a David versus Goliath story, just to let you know, as the Chief Justice told you, you now have powers that you can't even imagine. And then the third story, I don't have time to talk to you about the meaning of life. Thank goodness, right? Because we'd be here way too long. But maybe just the short talk about what will give your life meaning. First story. As the dean said, I am the son of immigrants. My dad came from Mexico. My mom came from Japan. I was born in 1959. And as bad as racism is today, it was much more in your face when I was growing up in the 60s. This was still shortly after World War II. Japanese, which my mom was, Japanese were depicted as sneaky, couldn't trust them. They had slanted eyes, buck teeth, spoke funny. Mexicans, which my dad was, were lazy, dirty, shiftless. We didn't have any economic power. My parents were working class people. My dad spent over 20 years in the Army as a sergeant. My mom worked as a clerk in a fabric store. And I saw how they were treated, or I should say mistreated, especially my mom. She had such a heavy Japanese accent. And I will never forget, especially with my mom, that look of both anger and hurt when she knew she was being taken advantage of and there was absolutely nothing she could do about it. She was powerless. Back in those days, in second grade, I used to walk home to an empty house because both my parents were working. And I'd used to watch a couple of TV shows. One was this goofy show, which none of you in front of me, but some of these people know. It was called Gilligan's Island. But this other show was about this lawyer named Perry Mason, who could fight for people who had been wrongly accused. And even though I didn't know anything about lawyers or what they did, I saw what Perry Mason did, and I said, from second grade, that is what I'm going to do, because the stuff that's happening to my parents isn't going to happen to me or my family. So I did. And went straight through undergrad, straight through law school, did a couple of clerkships, as the dean said, before joining my firm. And the first thing I did when I joined my firm, I literally started doing pro bono work. And what you'll find out as lawyers is that the legal profession can change society, and lawyers can change people's lives. Story number 2, David versus Goliath. Or maybe I should say Delea versus used car company. One of the things I used to do was go into legal clinics at night. And this is where people from the community, when they have no place else to go, for help, they will go to a legal clinic. And if you volunteer as a lawyer, it's an easy gig, 2 hours a night. Not much to ask, 2 hours a night, and you can try to help out people. I always had a few rules at these legal clinics. I'm busy with my own private practice, usually had larger pro bono cases going on. So I always told people who came to the clinic, I got to tell you 3 things right offhand. 1, you get half an hour. I'm sorry, but to keep this thing moving, we've got a lot of people coming here. 2, I will likely not be able to solve your legal problems. Whatever brought you here today, I'm not going to be able to solve in half an hour. It's not going to happen, but maybe I can give you some options, give you advice, give you an assessment of where you are. 3rd rule, an important rule, I don't take people's cases from the legal clinic. I just let you know it's going to be half an hour. So Delea shows up, and she tells me how she had been squandered for money from a used car outfit. Do you know how many times I've heard that story at a clinic? Sometimes true, sometimes not true, sometimes who knows? So I'm hearing her say that, and then she pulls out a paper and she says, and I have this judgment for $800. Suddenly, my eyes got wide, my ears opened up. I said, you've got a judgment? And she said, yes, I got it in small claims court a little over 9 years ago. Now, you heard a few oohs, the people who know that judgments only last 10 years. Delea, who had got a judgment in court for $800, sent that to the used car company and got nothing but silence in return. She tried to find an attorney to help her, but as you can imagine, most attorneys aren't going to take on a case for $800. She went to civil legal aid, way overworked, went to the prosecutors, nothing. Delea was sitting in front of me. My mom was sitting in front of me. Someone powerless. Someone that is so easy to take advantage of when you have the power, when you have the money, when you have the funds, you can simply ignore them. I looked at Delea and I said, don't you tell anybody this. I'm going to take on your case. So I did. I'm going to give you the short version of it. I found out that a judgment in a small claims court is not really a judgment. I didn't know that. I never collected on judgment, so I had to go to Superior Court, get that. We had to do a bunch of stuff. But I'll tell you the first thing, and this is something for all you new lawyers going out there. Before I started this process, I sent a letter, not a jerky letter. Don't be a jerk, a nice letter to the used car company. I said, look, I represent my client. She says she has got a judgment, included a copy of that for $800. She would be happy just with the $800. Forget about any kind of interest on it. And just, it would make us all happy. And if for some reason you think that you've paid this, you don't owe it, let me know. I need to know that, right? Because it's just what my client is telling me. Well, I got the same response that Delea got, right? Silence. So we had to go through, we had to get the judgment. And I don't know how this happened, but every time I tell the story, I tell people, it was legal, whatever they did. Somehow we could find out 6 months or 8 months of the car company's bank records. This is a used car company. They had 3 accounts. None of them had any money. They're all drained. But we're looking through once a month on February 11th. I'll never forget that day. February 11th, there'd be an influx of money, and within a couple of days, it'd all be drained. So I told my paralegal, I said, okay, let's do a garnishment for February 11th. Let's make sure we both go to church the Sunday before, and let's see what happens. We got it. A judgment about $2,100. Delea was ecstatic. Sometimes David beats Goliath. But you know what makes that story so unusual is because almost always Goliath will beat David. That is the exception. That is something that all of you, as the Chief Justice from Oregon said, Chief Justice Flynn, you now will have that power to make that difference. Part 3. As I said, I don't have time here. I wish I did to talk about the meaning of life, but I will talk to you about what gives life meaning. Because too often, too many people confuse the pleasures of life with what gives life meaning. Let me repeat that. Too often, people confuse the pleasures of life with what gives life meaning. A nice house, nice car, nice clothes, those are all the pleasures of life. They're nice to have. They are like the fast food, the candy, the soda pop of life. They will make you feel good for a little bit. Those things will not sustain your soul. What will sustain your soul, that you soon will have the power to do, is to give a voice to those who don't have a voice, to reach down and help up those that society have kicked down. You will have the power to give hope to those that have forgotten what that word even means. It won't be easy. You're going to come out of here with a ton of commitments. You're going to have a commitment to your new practice, commitment to your family, to your friends, to yourself. You will not find the time, I can almost guarantee you that. There's an old saying for those people who work out. That saying is, you won't find the time to work out. You have to make the time. If you are truly committed to justice, you're going to have to make that time. I'm going to finish up with this story. Man lives at the ocean by the shore. Big storm had just happened the night before. He goes out for his morning walk and sees that the storm had washed up thousands of starfish on the beach. He looks down, sees a little girl bending over and flicking up one starfish at a time and back into the water. He meets up with her and says, "Little girl, can't make a difference. There's too many of them." Picks up another one, flicks it into the water. She looks at him and says, "Made a difference for that one." Class of 2026, go out and make a difference.
We got to do a selfie with the graduates.
Which way?
Here, get over here. You get over here. Sorry, I can only take those with my right hand. Thank you, Justice Mangia, for those inspiring remarks. Each year, the graduating class selects a student speaker. This year's speaker is Jacqueline Renee Lee. Jacqueline Lee, a first-generation student from Houston, Texas, embodies perseverance and determination. She has known since the age of 4 that she wanted to become an attorney. Raised by a resilient mother and a proud father who passed away in June 2023, Jacqueline developed a deep sense of purpose and commitment early in life. At Gonzaga Law School, she found her voice as an advocate with a passion for addressing civil rights violations. Her journey in oral advocacy began with poetry and evolved into earning second place in her 1L oral arguments competition, as well as participating in the Civil Rights and Liberties Moot Court team for 2 years. Jacqueline is dedicated to serving underserved communities and aspires to make the world a safer, more equitable place, one case at a time. Through her work in the Lincoln LGBTQ Rights Clinic, she has already begun this mission, spending 2 semesters assisting clients with employment discrimination claims, second parent adoptions, and discrimination in public schools. She is eager to begin her legal career on the west side of Washington State.
I'm short. Good morning, everyone. It is a great honor to stand before you today as Class of 2026 Commencement Student Speaker. I want to start by thanking my campaign manager, Preju, who, to be clear, was not hired, but worked tirelessly to get me up here today. I'm not going to stand here and patronize you about how much work it took to get here. You already know. You lived it. And if you're anything like me, your brain will block out that trauma in the interest of self-preservation. With that, I want to begin by recognizing the friends and family here and those who are watching afar who have been pillars of support for each and every one of us. Thank you for supporting us financially, emotionally, and spiritually through this journey. Thank you for answering late-night phone calls filled with stress and uncertainty, for listening to our endless rants about how traumatizing property law is. Thank you, Cecil. Or whatever criminal procedure topic had us spiraling that week, and for talking us down when things felt overwhelming. I especially want to thank my mom, my sisters, and my brother who sacrificed time, distance, and countless moments together so I could pursue a dream I had since I was 4. I also want to recognize the people who have came into my life along the way and have become unwavering sources of support. My fiance, Ryan, who unfortunately will never win an argument again, his family, the Midwoods, the Pollards, my best friend Haley, Dwayne, my stepdad, and so many others who believed in me, especially when I didn't believe in myself. And I want to honor my father, who passed away weeks before my first year of law school. His love, support, and belief in me gave me the strength to keep going. I carry him with me in this moment and in everything that comes next. I would also like to thank the faculty and staff who have dedicated the last 3 years to shaping our futures as attorneys. Your mentorship and your wisdom and commitment to excellence have been invaluable. To name a few, Professor Sarah Harmon, Professor Laurent, Professor Murphy, Professor Wally, so many of you, all of you, have been a reason that I can stand here today confident, not only that I belong, but that I have found my voice as an attorney. Not only are we celebrating the incredible achievement of earning our Juris Doctor degrees, but we can also celebrate a few other victories, like the fact that we will never be cold called again. I am shocked that there is no pending lawsuits for intentional infliction of emotional distress, but maybe it'll be soon. We no longer have to spend thousands of dollars on textbooks each semester, only to use them for 3 months, although to be fair, they will look very pretty on our bookshelves. And maybe, just maybe, we'll start sleeping more than 3 hours a night. Personally, my New Year's resolution for 2027, because I need time, is to consume less caffeine. Wish me luck.
We're going to take a pause, and fortunately for modern technology, when the printouts fail, the phones work. This is where we play the commercial music here.
Okay. Anyways, the most beautiful part of this journey has been each other. Some of us found lifelong friends. Some of us fell in love. But all of us, at one point or another, were passing around each other's outlines. I never met a law student who truly wanted to figure this out alone. And the good thing is we didn't have to. So thank you for building not just a stunning graduating class, but a community, a truly beautiful one. With that, I am incredibly excited to see the impact this community will have on the world. Today, we join a small percentage of future attorneys in this country, 0.4%, armed with the passion, knowledge, and power to make a real difference. Whether it's helping a client plan for the future, standing beside someone in court, or fighting to protect civil rights, the work we do matters. The people in our communities need us. I would be remiss if I didn't speak to my identity as a biracial Black woman and how it has shaped my experiences both before and during law school. For much of my first year, and to be honest, my second year, I struggled with imposter syndrome at its highest degree. Because of both external and internal battles, I questioned whether I truly belonged here, whether I'd earned my place. But I stand here today to say this, not just for myself, but for anyone in this graduating class who holds a marginalized identity. You belong here. You've always belonged here. In a profession that has not always reflected the diversity of the communities it serves, your presence is not incidental, it's essential. You are meant to take up space, to be seen, to be heard, and to help shape a more inclusive and representative future for the law. Our legal system, while foundational, is not without its flaws. Too many individuals are still overlooked, underserved, or taken advantage of. As stewards of justice, it is our responsibility to help close that gap and to uphold the promise of equal access to justice as it was meant to be. So I challenge each and every one of you, no matter what path your career takes, to remain mindful of the power you hold and intentional in how you use it. So as we leave this chapter behind us and step into the next, I hope we carry with us not just what we've learned, but who we've become. May we lead with integrity, advocate with compassion, and never forget the responsibility that comes with the titles we earn today. And when things get difficult, which they inevitably will, I hope we remember the long nights, the challenges we overcame, and the fact that we've already proven we are capable of more than we ever thought was possible. I would like to leave you all with the impactful words of the Honorable Justice Thurgood Marshall. Do what you think is right and let the law catch up. Congratulations, class of 2026. We came, we saw, we outlined, and somehow we conquered.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Here it is, the moment you've been waiting for, the conferral of your degrees. The exams are behind you, the celebrations are ahead, and today your hard work becomes history. Our faculty and staff have challenged you to think harder, aim higher, and prepare yourselves for lives of leadership and service. Please don't let this, though, be goodbye. Stay connected. You are and always will be part of Gonzaga Law. We are proud beyond words and just a little bit wistful as we watch you cross this threshold. And now, let's make it official. On behalf of the faculty, the administration, and by the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am honored to present the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor. Associate Dean Agnieszka McPeak will read the names of the candidates A through K, and Associate Dean Dallin Flake will read the names of candidates J through Z. Graduates will be hooded by President Passerini and Professor Charles.
Uday Abraham. Emil Albright, cum laude. Alexander Amontamian. Ana Lucia Araya Avila. Jack Delizzo Archer. Melka Ruano Castellanos Arkel. Macy Arthur Zavalza. Madeline Baldwin. Rebecca Bond. Ryan Barajas. Jesse Dean Barker, magna cum laude. Thomas Christopher Baraka, cum laude. Lindsay Bartholomew. Louis Beck, cum laude. Alexander Beckley. Kyle David Belock. Ferris Berg. Alexander James Bayani. Chloe Lynn Berkmeyer. Ryan Bitts. Nikki Bogaz, magna cum laude. Alyssa Jacqueline Marie Burnett. Sharon Rose Burnham. Catherine Bashaw. Cash Calhoun, cum laude. Krista Michelle Carmen. Zachary Covey. Santiago Ceniceros. Jackson Chaplick. Christian Chavez. Isaac Christensen, magna cum laude. Kimberly Claremont, summa cum laude. Caleb Cleverly. Madeline Colleton. Brandon Conley. Cal Cummings. Connor Dobbin, summa cum laude. Louisa Doberman, magna cum laude. Eric Duff. Shelby Carolyn Dye. Hannah Eberts, cum laude. Monica Eckhart, magna cum laude. Chase Ellis. Julia Christine Ellison. Nina Emmerich. Kirsty Erickson. Jake Espeland, cum laude. Keely Rachel Farrell. Tristan Feltz. Christopher Robert Shade Fielder, cum laude. Dominique Figueroa. Daniel Fisher. Sophia Elizabeth Forbush, magna cum laude. Enrique Jesus Fuller Avalos, magna cum laude. Caitlin Burtney. Madeline Gadbois. Jacqueline Renee Lee. Jacob Gomlouche. Danielle Nicole Giffen. Isabel Gertz. Lily Given. Teo Gochek. Kendall Goucher. Lou Taylor Grange. Maddie Green. Ashton Vern Hagen. Justin Hall. Miranda Elizabeth Hall, cum laude. Sarah Lynn Hall. Timothy Hansen. Hope Harmon. Matthew Hayes. Jake Helton. Caden Hennessy, magna cum laude. Elise Renee Higgs. Whitley Renee Holthouse, summa cum laude. Mason Glenn Hooper. Matthew Horn. Rex Irby, summa cum laude. McKenna Johnson. Patrick Johnson, cum laude. Jasprit Judge. Holden Sherman Cass. Andrea Kelsey. Jessica Elise Curley. Kyle Kessler. Brandon Ka. Lisa Shu Yun Kim. Cora Pearl King. Randall Brian Kinswaw. Thomas Ryan Kirby, cum laude. Michael Allen Kirk, cum laude. Prezu Koirala. Katie Marie Krieger. Jordan Kelly Crowter. Alessandra Lynn Cuny Masuera, cum laude. Jonathan David Cussy, magna cum laude. Austin James Kyler.
Shayla Marie Lampos. Ricky Evan Layton. Cum laude. Danny Lockridge. Marin Faith Long, summa cum laude. Norwell Manalili. Caroline Lynn Marlowe. Connor James Martin. Emily Marie Marvin, cum laude. Brennan McClary. Darla McGregor. Galen McPartland. Lauren Melcher. Matthew Merrill. Ellie Mills, magna cum laude. Madeline Elizabeth Millward. Christian Misseldine. Nicole Moe. Mackenzie Moody. Catherine Moore. Ryan Wayne Morrell. Alyssa Wynn. Avery Nicholson. Daniel Nicodemus. Justin Bennett Packard. Jacob Papritz. Priya Parekh. Aaron Parks. Jaron Perry, cum laude. Jordan Mariah Post, cum laude. Michael Proudfoot, magna cum laude. Jane Elizabeth Provost. Humberto Rangel. Kylie Reese, magna cum laude. Samuel Renoir. Isabella Roberts. Eric Rodriguez. Maria Royce. Alana Raul. Sarah Salinas, cum laude. Allison Victoria Salvador, cum laude. America Sanchez, cum laude. Lindsay Kuwait Sanderson, magna cum laude. Rory Soy. Vaughn Schroeder, cum laude. Garner Sears, cum laude. Lauren Sewell. Mary Claire Schaefer, cum laude. Stevie Shiflett. Natalie Ann Shilati. Haley Silberfarb. Catherine Elizabeth Simpson. Nina Anastasia Smolinski. Victor Vasquez Gutierrez. Will Keanu Steinbeiser, cum laude. Matthew Suarez. Kirsten Taylor, summa cum laude. Susie Taylor, summa cum laude. Natalie Temple, magna cum laude. Jimmy Thompson. Ian Thompson, cum laude. Magdalene Tomko, cum laude. Preston James Tyler, cum laude. Dagan Marie Valco, magna cum laude. Mandy Jill Van Tassel, magna cum laude. Caden Todd Van Orman. Jessica Elise Vi, summa cum laude. Trinity Wall, cum laude. Troy Waller. Caden Ware, magna cum laude. Aiden Wasserman. Jennifer Weber, magna cum laude. Maxwell Weisenflew. Sydney Kate Wilburn, cum laude. Rachel Wilcoxon. Kendon Ray. Lexi Chiemi Yokode. Anna Nayumpam Young. Thomas Young.
Congratulations, class of 2026. You may now move your tassels to the left. Honored guests, I present to you the graduating class of 2026. Everyone, please stand for the benediction offered by Father Pham. At the conclusion of the benediction, please wait for the platform party and the graduates to exit before you do. Then please join us for a reception on the common grounds on the back patio of the law school as we toast our new graduates.
And so let us pray. Gracious and loving God, as this ceremony comes to a close, we give you thanks for the journey that has brought these graduates to this day. As they go forth into the vocation of the law, grant them the wisdom to seek not only what is legal, but what is just, and the courage to serve the good of all. Form them as men and women for others, attentive to the need of every human person, especially those most in need. May they be the voices for the unheard, the instruments of your justice and peace. Grant them the grace of discernment in all things, to find you in their work and in those whom they serve. When the path is difficult, give them courage. When it is uncertain, give them clarity. Inspired by St. Ignatius, may they go forth and labor for the greater good. And as they leave this place, may they be guided by faith, sustained by hope, and moved always by love. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.